Hello and welcome to I Can't Believe This Got Greenlit, a show where we discuss movies from our childhood, our nostalgia from watching them as kids, how they got made, and our experiences rewatching them as adults. I'm one of your hosts, Nick Warner, and joining me as always, Matthew Pelton.
Hello!
We're back,
good to be back
with no guest today.
It's just us. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. And before we get into the actual movie we're talking about today, which is Flushed Away.
Finally.
Which I'm so excited about. I think we should talk about why this episode has taken so long.
The history of us Flushed Away.
Because basically, for those of you who consistently listen to the episodes, either live here on WCB or on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you might have picked up that we announced that we were going to be doing Flushed Away.
A couple times.
Yeah. And it never happened.
Nope, not once.
And I just want to say apologies, but we're here. We're doing it today.
Now, should we explain why it got postponed so many times? Because it's kind of
my fault. You
my
can take the first one.
Yeah, it's kind of my fault. So my memory is that the way the show works, when it's just the two of us, is we, like, 1 week Nick picks a movie, next week I pick a movie. So when we decided to do guess, it was going to work the same way. Like, Nick was going to make a guess, and I wasn't supposed to know who it is, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I got a guest. I'm not going to call out their name because there's still a chance they're going to be on the show. But I got a guest, and she chose Flushed Away.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we'll do Flushed Away.
Yeah. Luckily, it was on Netflix.
Yes, so. It's on Netflix. It's an easy one to do. Like,
yeah.
We've had ones where it's on nothing. We've struggled. But it's on Netflix. It's easy. And then my memory is that I think the guest bailed. Like the first week, it was like Saturday, and all of a sudden,
something like that.
She was like, I can't do it. And I'm like, damn. Like, there goes Flushed Away. Round one.
Yeah.
And then second week, right before spring break, we're like, hey, you know what? For real, we're doing Flushed Away. Because I talked to my guest again. I was like, hey, can you do next, like the week after spring break? She's like, yep, I'm so there.
Yeah.
So Flushed Away round two. We announced it a second time. And then spring break hits. And then, long story short, my kidney exploded, and I went to the hospital, and there goes Flushed Away again.
Yeah. So then I'm not gonna say from where, but it rhymes with Memerson Shining Hall.
Nice.
I got a parasite that was pretty bad. It was not a fun weekend, to say the least. And I was worried that we were gonna have to miss today's episode and postpone it again. And we were like, God just doesn't want us to Flush Away.
We should not cover this movie.
We should never talk about this movie.
I'm worried that somehow we're not being broadcast or it's not going to record properly.
This is gonna be the second lost
This
episode.
is second lost episode. Flush Away was not meant to happen on this show.
It was too easy for it to be on Netflix.
Exactly.
There's no way.
We had to work for it.
There's no
way.
What I mean? Like Kermit Swampy, not even Spy Kids. I had to pay for that.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl we had to pay for.
You can't
Flushed Away.
Find it. Yeah,
2 seconds.
Too accessible.
This is too good.
It's crazy. So we're here. We're talking about Flushed Away. Finally.
Yes. Nick came out of his funk,
and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So I saw this as a kid, so I have childhood stories about this.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Now it's a weird one because I think I've said this before. It's one of those where I know I've seen it because so back when I was a young man, a young little boy, me, my dad, and my brother, every other weekend, if there was a kids movie in the theater, we would go to see it.
Yeah.
No matter what it was. Like, we would see every movie. So I know we've seen it.
Right.
Like my dad's like, yeah, I remember Flushed Away. Like, that sounds familiar. So I don't have any specific memories.
Right. I mean, you were 5.
I was 5. Yeah. But I know I have seen this before.
Okay. Gotcha. I didn't see this in theaters.
Oh, you didn't?
The first time I saw this was at home in my living room. Probably sitting on the floor because as a kid, I first loved sitting on the floor or like laying on the floor.
You weren't a couch guy? You never?
I liked the couch, but I always found myself, especially as like a young child, I like vividly remember either like we had like little bean bags, which like that memory just hit my brain right now. I haven't thought about those bean bags in a very long time. And Zach, my brother, if you're listening, those bean bags were awesome. So it was at home. And we were hanging out. Oh, what I was going to say was I also, like, as a kid, even, like, up to when I was, like, 12 or 13, I would always, like, take naps on my floor. Like, I would just lay down and just fall asleep.
You're 12 or 13 at this point?
Yeah, and it was, like, hardwood floor. It was
what?
It was amazing.
That's too old to be doing that.
It was incredible. I enjoyed it. And it was, like, we used to have a rug there, and sometimes I'd lay on the rug. And the sun would come down, and then my dog would be there. It was so lovely.
That's literally what my dog does.
Yeah.
It's this little patch of sun who'll go lie down in it.
That's exactly what I do.
You were like
I was
a dog.
like a little puppy. Yeah.
Okay.
It was great. But so I watched this at home. I'm pretty sure we got this from like either like you remember like video on demand, like where you just go buy it on the TV.
Yeah,
and it would just like go to your like internet provider, like all the
weird.
money. Yeah, it's very. I like think about that sometimes. I'm like, wait, what? I don't know.
One day we'll break that down.
Yeah. It was either that or like one of the is it Redbox?
Yeah, they had Redbox. They also like we're old, not old, but we're old enough that I remember Blockbuster as a kid.
I was gonna say
stuff like that.
Blockbuster.
Yeah,
it was one of the three, but I definitely didn't see it in theaters, and I definitely saw it in my living room.
Okay,
so I remember this movie vividly.
Oh,
as opposed
really?
to as opposed to like Kermit Swamp Years, where it was like
the
little flashes of the memories. This one I could almost tell you. It's like this and like Over the Hedge. I could be like, that's a weird animated film that I remember most of the beats.
No way.
Yeah, and so I rewatched this and I'm like, I remember this. Other than and I guess it kind of got brought back when I saw him, but other than like the guy who kind of like breaks into the house.
Oh, see, I remember him.
Down. Interesting. So I remembered Le Frog and
nope, nothing.
And the toad and the singing snails.
Yeah,
I remembered all of them. Slugs. I think they're
slugs.
Yeah, I remember everything.
You see, all I remembered was he gets flushed down a toilet by the big one that breaks in.
Okay,
that's all. That was it.
See, for some reason I remember he was like very bougie. And then I remember I wanted to be like him. I was like, this guy's
really
awesome. Yeah, and I was also built like him too. I still am. It's like this tall, lanky dude that just, I kind of like look like him. I don't know. It's a weird scenario. So I wanted to be him. It was like he was like Rat James Bond, and I had never seen James Bond. I still have never seen James Bond.
What?
So yeah,
not a single one.
That's a different story.
Oh my God,
I've never seen James Bond.
That's wild.
But like this guy was my hero. This was my James Bond.
British Hugh Jackman.
Exactly. Yeah. As opposed to American Hugh Jackman.
He's Australian. I don't know. He's really doing a British accent in this movie, and I think it's bizarre.
Yeah. But so I remember this pretty vividly. I never remembered how he got down.
But eventually
toilet.
he somehow made it down.
He like went down, and then and then I remember the rest.
Okay.
Of the story.
Yeah.
So that was where I saw it, and then going into like the production notes, it is interesting just to know as far as like the show is concerned. This is the first animated movie we're covering, which blows my mind.
Is that true?
Yeah, it blows my mind because of just the sheer amount of animated movies in our lists that we need to cover.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It blows me away that we're what 6?
I think
7 weeks.
Oh yeah, if you include
7
Boy
weeks,
Cries
6
Werewolf,
episodes.
Yeah. That's I get you could half include Hop, but that doesn't really count.
Right,
live
full
action.
Full animated. And I'm concerned because I think every other movie after this is just always going to be animated.
Probably. I think live action's done unless we do Spy Kids 3.
Right. But so it's a 2006 animated film, directed by Sam Fell and David Bowers.
Okay.
And this is their directorial debut for film.
Oh,
so
really?
it seems like they did a lot of like television stuff.
Okay.
And then they got brought on. This is their directorial debut, which I don't know if this is just me, but it seems like a lot of the movies we cover on the show are directorial debuts.
That's probably for a reason.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, and then Sam Fell goes on to direct, after this, he goes on to direct Paranorman.
Okay.
And
Makes sense.
David Bowers goes on to direct all of the live-action Diary of a Wimpy Kid sequels. So
Really?
he doesn't do the first one, yeah. He doesn't do the first one, but he does every single sequel.
So he fully bails on animation, though.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know why, but he just goes on and does all those. And those are ones that I want to cover that first.
Oh, we're so covering.
Yeah,
like Roger Rules is coming.
This film was created by Aardman Animation. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, and those are the Wallace and Gromit people, right?
Yeah. So they do a lot of stop motion. So they did Chicken Run, Shaun the Sheep, Arthur Christmas.
Yeah.
And all of those are also potential future episodes.
Yeah, and
I know
those
for sure Chicken Run.
I guess I have a weird spot in my heart for these movies because you can tell it's them every time.
Oh, every
time.
Such
a specific style.
Animation, yeah.
It's so cool, and they always do a relatively good job.
Right, and yeah, they're all very. It's a very strange animation.
It is.
But it definitely fit the script for the early 2000s. There were no real stakes at all in any of the movies. You
could argue at the end of this one, we almost lost a lot of lives.
No, not this one. But I'm talking like the stop motion.
Oh, I see
those
what you're
ones.
saying. Yeah.
They took a lot of big leaps, and it's a lot unlike other like stop motion or regular animation like Disney or Pixar,
like DreamWorks and stuff.
DreamWorks, yeah. There's not, it's just you just kind of like sit there for an hour and a half, and you're like, great, that was a fun time.
That was awesome.
I was not worried once, and then you leave. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And the company typically does stop motion, but this is their first fully CGI animated film.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure it's their last.
And I love the fact so much that they specifically pretty much universally do claymation.
Mm-hmm.
Wallace and Gromit's claymation, Chicken Run, all of it. And the one time, like, you know what? We're going to go full CG, 3D, screw the claymation. They make it all look like claymation.
Yeah.
It still has the same style. Yeah. It's just different.
But do you want to know why?
Oh, there's a reason.
There's a reason.
Why,
there's
why,
actually a pretty good reason. So it was initially going to be stop motion. And that was where it was, because that's the company.
Yeah.
But because a lot of the story took place in a sewer, there were like a lot of water elements to the movie, and it would ruin the stop motion figures. So they basically got like a little ways into the production of the stop motion version of this.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
They started.
And then all the figures got ruined, and they were like, well, I guess we have to figure out how to transition this entire company to CGI.
That's wild.
And so that's why like the movie has this weirdly distinct look of stop motion, but it is fully CGI animated.
Yeah,
I didn't like it at all.
Oh, I did.
I didn't enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah, something about it threw me off, because I was like, either go all the way or go none of the way. And I think that just kind of like I appreciate it for being unique, but it just wasn't my cup of tea.
That's fair. As someone who does like love the stop motion look, even though I could tell it wasn't like truly stop motion, I was still like, you know what? I respect it.
Yeah. And this is the final animated film by DreamWorks, created by Aardman, because of the box office losses. So basically,
how does this movie,
dude?
Oh no!
It blew me away, the budget for this film.
Okay.
The budget for this movie is $149 million.
Whoa!
And
oh my god, it's like an Avengers movie.
Exactly. It literally almost an Avengers
it's not
movie.
a joke. Like.
And it left its box office total with $178 million. So it lost a lot of money. And DreamWorks was like, "Hey, Aardman, you guys stick to stop motion, and never do animation again."
Now, do you think it cost so much because they started and they put all this money into stop motion, and then they're like, "Hey, this is broken. We have to change it."
because they're not a company that does.
No,
like
CG at all. So they like fully convert, which is a lot of money.
Right. And I read somewhere, and I don't know how true this is, but that it was initially titled Ratropolis.
Oh, thank God that got changed.
That would have been cool.
That's so much worse than Flushed Away. You think it underperformed with the title Flushed Away.
Right.
Try Ratropolis. Movie's making no money.
And then a final note on the production. There were... And I noticed this throughout, and I thought it was very interesting. There were a ton of pop culture references.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Including Nemo, Han Solo. I just wrote a bunch down.
Okay.
Han Solo, James Bond, Wolverine, which I thought
Hugh
was
Jackman.
the coolest thing ever. Because, the main character is voiced by Hugh Jackman, and when he's going through his outfits for the day, he pulls out a Wolverine costume.
Yeah, like the little yellow-blue one.
Yeah, and I don't know if he, like scoffs at it, or he's like, not today,
he keeps debating putting it on. He's switching back and forth.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've seen this movie. I don't know about you, but I haven't watched it since I took notes.
Wait, when did you watch Flushed Away?
Over spring break, so that was like 2 weeks ago.
I watched this morning.
Oh no, I'm like not.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I don't have a refresher right now, so I'm
gonna have to help you out on this one. Yeah,
I have my notes, which will hopefully spark
something,
but yeah, it's rough. And then it references other Aardman animation things like Shaun the Sheep, which is pretty cool.
And there's a little, I always forget, I feel so bad. Whatever, and Wallace and Gromit, whichever one is the dog, he shows up twice in this.
Does he?
He has like a background toy.
Yeah. And then there's a reference to Elvis, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And so that's all I have for production. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Nothing too crazy.
I mean, the budget definitely ballooned.
Yeah,
a little. Yeah,
that's nuts. I'm in a producing class for folks who are listening that don't know. And we have been doing a lot on budgeting. And we have this semester-long project, and for it, we have to basically come up with this idea for like a feature-length film, like realistically budget the whole thing and kind of go for it, right?
Yeah.
And so I had this idea for like an indie, like Moonlight-styled film, right? And now this is a Best Picture winner. Obviously, it didn't cost very much. I think it costs like less than $2 million.
Probably, yeah.
But like, then you get that product, right? It like my production, I think, costs under $1 million.
Okay.
And this costs $149 million,
which is wild.
It just like blows me away. I don't. How much do other animated movies cost in comparison? You know what I mean?
Not
like
that.
What I don't think.
Because actually, if anything, you have like the cliche of Illumination, right? Where they crank out these big movies like The Grinch, Despicable Me, Minions, and the budget is always lower than most people think.
Right.
Because you can kind of almost get away with cheap animation.
Yeah.
But then you have Flushed Away. It did $150 million.
I'll say this. I was curious. I looked up a recent Pixar movie.
Okay.
Soul.
Yeah.
If you're familiar.
Yes.
Great movie, but spectacular animation.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Some of the best. It looks like very realistic.
Yeah.
That cost $150 million as well. So it is interesting to see how the same exact budget.
Yeah.
Can create two such distinctly different products.
Very. Now, also, keep in mind, Flushed Away is a little worse than you probably think it is. Because when did it come out? I was 5, so 06?
Yeah,
was it? If you adjust that for inflation, it's
no.
more than what Soul
It's like 175.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Just you should watch this and Soul back to back. Just realize they cost the same, if not Flushed Away costing more.
Right. Not even for the story, because obviously Soul had me in shambles.
Yeah, Flushed Away is much better.
Yeah, so much better. No, Soul had me like sobbing. It was incredible, and also was during the pandemic, so it was like peak anxiety. So it was just a whole mess of emotions. But just purely for the animation style, it's so different. So interesting to see. I will give them the benefit of the doubt as far as having to probably just like create an entire new department.
They had to kind of scramble.
And I feel like part of that budget was inventing the.
I'm sure
the technology you're buying,
which they never used again.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying is like if you made Flushed Away 2, and it's the same exact premise, and the same
probably
exact people,
cheaper.
It would probably be $50-60 million cheaper.
Yeah, and also I know we're kind of ragging on the budget, but I do like the look of this movie.
Okay,
I mean,
understand. I mean, that's
it's
fair.
Expensive. But
yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but I get it. Okay, so now going into the plot.
Okay,
here we go. So. We open with the classic DreamWorks logo, which I desperately miss. I don't know if have you seen the new one?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, it's really cool. But it's like...
Is it not just the kid in the moon?
No, they changed it.
What did they do?
Okay, so basically it's the kid in the moon.
Yeah.
And then he hops onto the moon, and the moon is, I think, the moon is like his like surfboard, and he pretty much like floats through space, and he like goes and he like interacts, like he says hello to like major... DreamWorks characters. So like the Trolls,
like
Shrek, all the Kung Fu Panda. I think there was criticism that Kung Fu Panda wasn't in there. Or some like major player wasn't in the logo, which is like crazy to me.
Okay.
But so it's this brand new logo, and I actually really like it. I was surprised. I didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting. But to see, because it was in front of Puss in Boots, which I saw most recently for DreamWorks.
Yeah, which me and you saw together. I just fell asleep.
Right. Obviously before the very beginning of the movie, because
I was passed out. I drank an icy in 2 seconds and it was game over.
Your body shut down because of the sugar. But watching this with the classic logo made me really miss.
Because that's like a famous logo, yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think it was Madagascar. The Madagascar characters, I don't think
they
were on
skip
there.
Madagascar?
Yeah, they just fully, and they put trolls and
possible?
like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like box office, but it's like those are more iconic in my eyes than, and maybe because just 'cause I grew up with them.
Yeah, but see, they haven't made one in a while.
True, but
but trolls over Madagascar.
But there are also other characters on there that like you could easily replace
trolls
with that. But I'm saying like there's also a ton more that I'm like, why
them over?
Why them?
We're the penguins, man. Where's the lion?
But I'll say this: it was a cool intro. It is a cool intro for what it is. Because I don't like the new like logos have like all the new companies or like the old companies are like rebranding, and that's just me being a stickler because I like old content. But this one did like it was pretty cool.
Do you prefer it?
No,
No,
absolutely
okay.
not. Obviously, I want my old classic.
It's just the kid.
Because that logo can go on forever and be in any movie. And here's why. So basically, he just does his little fishing thing.
Yep.
And it's DreamWorks, right?
That's it.
But every movie, like starting from a certain year, and they pretty much did it up until it left, you could customize it however you want. They had was it Cloudy with a Chance? Is Cloudy with a Chance Meets Balls? That's DreamWorks.
I thought it was Sony Pictures.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
but it was
Sony
one of them
Animation.
where like something started raining down from the sky, and then he like fell off, and like there's just like little animations.
You can get creative with it.
With the kid.
Which now you can't do.
No, and they like did it for every single one, and it was great. Oh, like the Bee movie. The bee came over and was like attacking him, and he was like trying to swat it away. It was great.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It seems like they took like the Marvel Studios approach. They have all the characters.
Yeah.
You know, they made it
That's
way
exactly it.
longer.
Yeah. But even the Marvel one, you can kind of customize.
That's
because like they did it with like Stan Lee and Black Panther and all that
Endgame
stuff.
was half the characters missing in it.
But like with this new one, I'm pretty sure they pretty much announced or like confirmed that they like weren't. That's the logo in front of every single thing for DreamWorks now, which is kind of disappointing.
Kind of a shame. Yeah.
But so yeah, we open with that, which is lovely. And so we're in this large mansion, and this random white family has a pet rat named Roddy, who is our main character, who is extremely bougie. This man lives in like a castle for a cage.
He's like a gold cage with an R on it.
And he is played by Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Again, doing a British accent.
Which is so weird because it's like famously played by Hugh Jackman. When I think of this movie, I think, oh, that's Hugh Jackman playing the rat.
Right.
But Hugh Jackman is also famously Australian.
Yeah.
That's like part of his identity. Yeah. So when you hear him doing a British accent, it's so strange.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a fever dream. It does not feel real.
Yeah. And then we have I really want to mark down how many movies we get without montages. Because we get a montage with music overlaid.
Yeah.
And I think it's Dancing with Myself. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Billy Idol, yeah.
And he does a bunch of stuff on his checklist by himself. And we kind of see that he's, pretty lonely.
But he's playing like volleyball.
Yeah, and he has he's like these fake friends.
Yeah, it's these little dolls all set up.
It's a little sad because he like it's this like dilemma of like you're rich but you're lonely versus you're poor but you have people surrounding you. Like what life path do you want to take? It's that, and we find out that he is put in this rich life, but he has no one to hang out with. Yeah.
Though I will say, in the moment he was having a blast. And it was pretty fun to watch.
Sure, but then at the end of the day, he's kind of like,
once he sees the other side of it, then he's
But Roddy hears a noise that wakes him up at night, and he finds a sewer rat named Sid. Now Sid is the guy that I don't remember.
He's the only one I remember.
Yeah. And this dude is a slob.
He's gross.
He is disgusting. Like I was shocked at how nasty they painted this dude. He is like, he's filthy. He eats like a slob.
Yep.
He like has these nasty, like like overgrown toenails. Like it was like that. They kept making that like really like prevalent, just like the toenails in frame.
Kind of reminds me of Nick.
All right,
what?
Listen, I've been sick the past couple days. I haven't had a chance to cut my toenails.
Listen, all I know is that he had a parasite. I just had to clean the bathroom. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
That wasn't me. And yeah, so and Roddy. Oh, no. Roddy recommends the jacuzzi to show him hospitality, which is interesting. And then he gets flushed down the drain, because he can't trick Sid. Sid is too
smart.
He's too smart.
Yeah,
and he pushes him in, and he flushes him down the drain.
You don't screw with Sid.
Yeah, and the jacuzzi is the toilet. By the way, Roddy basically says like, "Hey, come in this toilet or the jacuzzi, and you'll be my guest." And his plan was just to flush him back down to where he came from, and then instead he gets duped, and his plan backfires, and he gets flushed down, which is unfortunate, but that's where our story comes in. He begins to freak out when he gets down there in the sewers because he is out of his traditional bougie territory. He doesn't know what to do.
Any good story,
good story.
Yeah.
Rich guy gets put in not so rich living situation,
exactly.
And what happens?
New world.
Chaos ensues.
Yeah.
or the opposite of that, which I think is always fun. You have a person who lives a normal life, and then they
gets put into
it's really cool.
That's Flushed Away too.
Yeah, that they never made because they ran out of money.
Yeah, because this bombed horribly.
Yeah, which actually kind of shocks me because when I talk to people about Flushed Away, most of the kids that I know have seen it.
Well, again, that also seems to kind of be a common theme with this show. It's like most kids our age know probably every movie we've talked about, maybe with the exception of Kermit Swampers and Werewolf, but like Hop, all that stuff. But then we do the research, and sure enough, they bombed horribly. Like, no one's seen these movies.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't know. It blows my mind. I think I said this last time we brought this up, but I think it's because when we were kids, our parents never took us to the theater to go see it, or at least for me. I know a couple people.
Yeah, I went to every single movie.
Yeah. But the rise of the home video, where our parents would just go out and get the DVD and then they would just throw it on because it was easier for us to watch the show at home and they could do stuff at home than take us to the theater and have to sit there with us. You know what I mean? I feel like with that rise, it was like more of like, oh my God, this is so much easier. And now with the rise of Netflix, the kids nowadays are just like, all right,
throw that on.
You can control it as a kid. It's like you pick whatever you want as long as the parental controls are on. So I think it's just a matter of the technology changing, and it is interesting to dive into it because it's like I never thought about it until this show.
Yeah, until we started doing this.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we're talking about it.
Well, again, I said, like, my dad used to take us to every movie, but my mom was basically that.
Yeah.
Where she would just buy any random DVD, and in the car she'd just throw it on.
Yeah.
Probably had no idea what she was putting on. She could be putting on like James Bond or Scarface, and I have no idea. It was just playing in the back. But if I said, like, hey, do you know Flushed Away to my dad? He'd be like, yeah, I remember that.
Because he saw it.
Yeah, because he saw it.
Yeah.
But if I said, hey, Mom, the one who like purchased the DVD, do you remember Flushed Away? Not a shot.
Yeah.
No way.
It's quite sad because the rise and fall of in-car TVs, it blows my mind because I feel like there were so many of them when we were kids, at least from what I remember. I don't know if this is just like me being a kid who played soccer and I would always like carpool with my like the one kid who had the big van.
Yeah, like the soccer mom.
Yeah, and then they had like the TV. Because now that I think about it, the first time, and you know me, everyone knows me being a Disney freak, but the first time I ever saw Tarzan was like in a van, like in like one of those like soccer mom vans with the TV,
just like
in a parking lot.
Yeah,
like I like watched like part of it just like in a parking lot, like just chilling. I don't even remember where I was or like what I was doing.
Just hanging out watching Tarzan in the car.
It was this big. It was the size of my hand. The screen.
Yeah, they're always really small,
so tiny.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting that like isn't really around.
It's not really a thing
because it's just like you don't need it because you have like iPhones.
Yeah, there's no point.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he ends up in this like sewer rat utopia. This place it's a fully fleshed out city, and I made a note here that basically it's similar in my eyes to the Hop chocolate shop, where it's just like fully fleshed out and fully imagined. Like it's like a fully functional city, and they have like fully figured out every single aspect of this city. They have, like they have the water where people are like surfing, or they
there was
surfing?
One dude with a surfboard. Yeah,
they have like bridges and like all these buildings. It's wonderful.
Really cool.
It's like stunning. It's like really nice to look at.
Well, that's why it's funny you compare it to Hop, because I was going to bring that up, and I was going to also talk about this when our thoughts like watching it now as adults, but I'll say it now. So comparing it to Hop, I remember when I watched that, thinking that the whole chocolate candy world was so creative and it was so cool, and then the rest of the movie died immediately. Like that creativity was gone within 5 minutes. But for this, it felt like that city and stuff was so creative and cool, and then the movie never let down. Like it just kept shoving new ideas and cool new things, and I was so impressed.
Yeah,
because you could tell they just were having so much fun, and there was so much love put into this movie.
Right,
and I loved it.
Yeah,
yeah. I was fully in.
Spoiler alert! I actually didn't mind this one. I thought it was pretty good.
We're finally on the same page about the movie.
I didn't like love it.
Oh, never mind.
It was not like it didn't make me want to throw up. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like it wasn't atrocious, especially for our first animated film. Because I know when we start to watch more animated ones, there are some that make me want to like pass out.
Yeah, there's a couple I'm really nervous about.
But there are some that I like remember actually enjoying, and I could like see the movie in my head and be like, I could see myself liking that now, and I'm kind of excited to watch it to see what I think.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see what happens.
That was me with this one. I was like, this is the first time since we've been doing this show, there's a chance I'm gonna actually like the movie.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't happened yet. Yeah.
There you go. And so eventually Roddy meets a fry cook pirate. And
I forgot about that.
Yeah. And he tells him he knows the way he can get back to the surface. And it's on a ship called the Jammy Dodger? Is that right?
I don't remember.
I think it's the Jammy Dodger.
I think you're right. I'll look it up just in case.
Which is owned by Rita, who is the female rat of this whole story.
The coolest character in the movie.
Coolest character. So he eventually gets there, meets Rita. And these thug rats board their ship, and they're looking for a ruby. And Roddy and Rita kind of don't budge at all.
Yeah.
Right? Did you find anything?
Yeah, it's the Jammy Dodger.
Jammy Dodger.
Yeah, you were right. Yeah.
Okay. And Roddy kind of wants out of this situation because he's like, I don't deserve to be like mugged for. So I like just got here basically. I'm an innocent bystander.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not
nothing to do with anything.
And then the Persuader, which is a nutcracker.
Yep.
They bring out the Persuader, and to get answers out of them, and then they steal the ruby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They fully steal it.
And they keep Rita and Roddy captive and bring them back to the big bad, which is an unnamed toad. We don't know what his name is.
Now, keep in mind, again, because I don't remember this part of the movie at all. But
Didn't you just watch it?
No, I mean before this morning.
Oh,
like when I like childhood memories of this movie. So I was stunned when within the first 10 minutes, the mob showed up and started stealing jewels and kidnapping people. I was like, what is happening?
I think I was blown away that it happened so quickly.
So, yeah.
But I remember it happening.
Oh,
I remember that was like one of the first things that happened was he goes to meet Rita and then they have like
they
immediately get kidnapped.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was going to happen because obviously animated movies are less time than we realize as we grow up. We're like, oh, they're like an hour and 30 minutes, if not less.
Yeah, sure.
But like as kids, for some reason, time just feels a lot longer when it comes, especially when it comes to movies.
Yeah.
I think it's just because our little brains are just like shooting all over the place.
Fair.
So when we lock into a movie, it's like, oh God, this is taking forever no matter what it is. We're so invested in it. But it's like nowadays, you rewatch these movies, they're an hour and a half, and you kind of have to get that plot going in the first 10 minutes. But it is very jarring.
It's wild.
To just like immediately be like, all right, this is your guy. Oh my God, the mob.
The mob is here.
That's crazy. So Roddy, so they're captured, right? And Roddy accidentally destroys the Toad's shrine to Britain.
Right.
And he has this big shrine to like the Queen and Britain. And
everything above ground.
Everything above ground, yes. And they want, the Toad, the big bad, wants this ruby to complete his collection? This is
it's like his crown jewel.
Yeah. And then the evil rats go to put them on ice, but then they escape with the ruby. They steal the ruby and they escape.
Steal the ruby back. Yeah.
And I promise you, this is not going to be like Spy Kids.
Where they get kidnapped again?
Yeah, and it just keeps going back and forth. They steal it back and forth. But so Roddy breaks the ruby because he knows it's fake because he's,
he's seen actual
a
rubies.
Bougie guy. And he's seen actual rubies. And it's explained that Rita's dad got the ruby when it fell down the drain, and they all thought it was from Queen Elizabeth's crown, but turns out it was fake.
Do we know why they thought that?
I think they're all British. They kind of like know about the Queen because you know how they like watch the World Cup.
That's true. They do
I
watch
assume
like
that they're like
news.
watching politics.
So they just see a
British
jewel and
politics.
assume, which is so weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't make the movie. That's my best guess.
Fair,
is they just watched it on TV and they were like, "Wow, what a pretty crown!" And
we
then
have
they
one
saw
of
the thing
those.
and then they were like, "Oh, this is ours. Wow, this is crazy." But yeah, so that happens. And then Roddy says that he has real jewels that can truly change your life in Kensington, where he lives. So they make a pact to bring him home in return for a jewel for Rita and her family. Because Rita has a lot of siblings.
Yes.
And a very small home, and I think their family is like next to poor.
Yeah.
Like, they have almost no money.
And they have a home that constantly rocks back and forth.
Yep. It's like a little boat.
Yeah.
And I made a note, and I wrote down, I really like the Toad's henchmen.
That's all you wrote?
They remind me of the wet/sticky bandits from Home Alone. I love them. They are so fun.
Were you high when you watched this movie? What kind of note is that?
I really liked the way that they like interacted with each other. And
like the rats or like the frogs later on?
I think the rats.
Rats?
Yeah.
I kind of see what you mean a little, because they're just like toying with each other a little bit.
Exactly. They kind of like don't really care.
No.
And they're kind of goofy, but they're also like, they're like funny, and but they're also serious. Like they just reminded me of the wet.
I know what you mean.
Sticky bandits, whatever they want to call themselves in which movie. And I just like, I loved their energy so much. Also, apologies to anyone listening, because I am still really out of it from being sick. I was worried that this was going to happen, and I hope it's
the parasite crept back.
Yeah, I hope it's not shining through. Just a note on that. I'm okay, but we're trudging through. We got this.
You can't see it, but he's currently in a hospital gown.
My face is fully red.
It's
right
awful.
It's rough. No. But yeah, so that note was just incredible. Rita and Roddy go back to Rita's place where she has tons of siblings. We already went over that. An almost laughable amount, I wrote.
Yeah, it's absurd.
It's absurd. And now it kind of makes sense why she needs the riches, because their living situation.
This is also where Robbie then overhears like part of a specific section, remember? So like Rita goes in and talking to like her brother, and the brother's convinced that Robbie's like a jewel thief.
Mm.
And then, which is awesome.
Mm.
And then Rita's like, no, he's not. Like, this is the big misunderstanding. But then Robbie just overhears the brother. What's his name?
Roddy.
What's my excuse?
See, we both messed up.
Maybe listen. This movie's cursed. We should never do this movie.
It's
Rodney.
This is the cursed episode. Boy Who Cried Werewolf is the lost episode.
He overhears the part of the discussion where they're like, "Hey, we should." There's something I don't remember. This movie's too good. I think I got your parasite.
I think something's up. Anyways. Rita's mom explains that she met someone from up top, and he was lonely, and it was very sad to see.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Roddy kind of realizes that his life might also be lonely. So he kind of has this realization. He's like, oh, maybe I need
Rita
I prefer
and
this life. I love this family. This is great. He admits to Rita that he was watching her and her family, and that she is incredibly lucky. And he kind of is like, listen. He didn't like outright say it, but he's like, you are lucky that you have people to surround yourself with. This is kind of like the theme of the movie, and it's nice to see it kind of crack through. Even though it is like an incredible film otherwise. And there's a pretty fun chase scene through the sewer of, Rat City.
Yeah. With El Frog, is that his name?
Le Frog.
Le Frog? Oh, because he's French. He's a French frog.
Actually, no, this was before, because the next thing on here is Le Frog is brought in to do the job that the rat henchmen, the sticky bandits.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, sticky bandits.
Duo couldn't do. And so I think the chase scene, because again, I haven't seen this in 2 weeks, but the chase scene I think is with the rats and they fail.
Yes.
Is what I think.
Yeah, because the hand was waving around.
And
all that. Yeah.
So Le Frog, which is like a French like hitman basically, comes in, and this is like Toad's like right hand man.
Yes, his main guy.
This is like his guy.
Yeah, for like the
this
big
is like the
stuff.
Pink Berets.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the Pink Berets.
And Toad preaches to a frog about his wonderful but tragic backstory.
Yes.
Toad was flushed down the loo, as he calls it. I think he calls it like that.
Probably. It's the most British film I've ever seen in my life.
He was flushed down the loo because his owner got a pet rat he liked more. And now Toad hates rats.
All of them.
Hates them.
It's a weird kind of racist thing.
A little bit.
He wants to commit genocide on these rats.
Yeah.
Like that's legit his goal in this movie.
But he also like has them as henchmen.
Yeah, which is weird.
Little strange.
Okay, I know he wants to wipe out the whole rats. It's revealed later he wants to wipe out the whole rat city. But that's not exactly. He wants to commit genocide on the rats.
Right, and he wants to like implement his babies.
Yeah, it's all going to be frogs and toads after this.
And aren't they all like on ice? Like they're all like growing?
Yeah, they're like cryogenically frozen. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing.
So strange. He's like starting his population on his own.
It's
very weird.
But then he does have rat henchmen. I don't remember if they're included in the genocide or not.
I don't know.
Which what a sentence that I just said.
Yeah, very strange.
I wonder if his friends are included in the genocide.
But so anyways, I also made a note here that the slugs
the singing
come
slugs.
in and they sing.
Yeah.
And I love them.
They're
adorable.
some of the best part of this movie.
And also, they do such a good job harmonizing
it's really
whatever
nice.
song that they do. Every time they come in, like on the screen, no matter what, even if it like fully breaks the tension,
it works.
It is incredible, and it works, and it is like I almost like looked forward to it in the film.
Like, and that's like why one of the reasons I love this movie. Because like it's just so much fun and creative.
Yeah.
Like whoever came up with the idea of these weird singing slugs, and whoever wrote them in, it's like, you know what, this is the perfect time for them to sing a little song. They like it's just
figured it out.
It's so good. I was so happy with this movie. I was so blown away.
So LeFrog and his crew board their ship, and they have a mime frog with a phone strapped to the front.
Right. It's just
patching in the toad.
Yeah.
And it's like an iPhone, basically.
Yeah, it is.
And the mime frog, basically on the iPhone, they like FaceTime Toad.
Yeah.
And then the mime frog is like the body for Toad.
And he's just screwing around the whole
so
time.
Strange,
doing little
but so
jokes.
creative. This is great.
It is funny.
And
like, it works.
You can tell it's not like a modern phone that someone would have put down this, like it fell into the sewer.
Yeah,
and they got it, and it's just so like so creative, and
every time they do a new bit
everything.
like that, you're always like wow, like it just doesn't stop.
That would be in
like that would be in the sewer. Like it makes sense
in Rat City.
I wish Rat City was real.
Ratropolis?
No,
I don't know.
We're not bringing back Ratropolis.
But they distract the frogs with a fly. I think they fight off all of the frogs, and then the frog is the last one.
I believe he was the last one, and
that's what I meant.
They're about to lose.
Yeah,
remember they fall in like these big rapids or something. Yeah,
and then so they defeat him, but their ship gets destroyed. The Jamie Dodger.
The Jamie Dodger's gone.
It gets destroyed. And then they fly out of a pipe above Kensington. I don't remember. Was it like the pressure? It kind of like shot them out.
Yeah, they took a bag.
They took a
pressure and launched them up.
And so now they're out of the sewer, right?
Yeah.
They're floating above Kensington, and they make it back to Roddy's home. Roddy gives Rita the ruby for her family that he promised, right? And another one for a new ship,
which is really
the
sweet.
Jamie Dodger 2.
Yeah,
which is awesome. And she finds out that he is all alone up above. So he basically is lying to her this entire time of, all right, I have friends, I have family, I have a brother, I have all these people, you're going to meet them. And then they get there, and then he's like, oh, they're all not home. I don't know what to do. And then eventually she finds out that, all right, he is lonely, which is...
I think she sees like his cage.
Yeah.
She's like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah. And then we finally find out that Toad's plan, like you said, is to flush away all the rats in the sewer during the halftime of the World Cup.
Yeah, because everyone's going to have to go to the bathroom. They're holding it in. Yeah.
And then it's all going to come down, and it's going to fully wipe away all the rats. It's a clean slate. This is like literally biblical Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
This guy is God.
It's genocide. It's just straight
really
up.
is.
Like,
and Sid and Roddy, they team up, and finally, because they hated each other throughout this whole
movie.
Because Roddy's upset that he got flushed away.
Yeah.
Titular.
And Sid's just like this disgusting monster.
Yeah, and he's like, well, you're bougie, I hate you. This is my home now, and I deserve it.
Yep.
But so they team up. They're eventually like, all right, we got to do this for the greater good. And Roddy goes back to the sewer. They get flushed away again.
Well, Sid stays, remember? Sid doesn't go with.
Right.
Yeah, he stays in the house.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Rita and Roddy.
Yeah, Rita and Rodney go back.
But they team
Rodney
up.
goes back to save Rita, essentially.
Yeah. And they fight off the Toad and his crew and defeat him forever. And then basically his plan, Toad's plan, kind of sees the light of day almost, because at halftime, all of the stuff is coming down.
It's all coming.
And then a pipe bursts, which is that triggered by...
He does something with the toad and the tongue.
Yeah.
And he breaks the pipe on purpose.
Right.
He's trying to freeze it.
It's like they freeze the water.
Yeah.
And all the rats are saved.
Now, okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, because I really don't know. So this is a genuine question. So I know they use liquid nitrogen to freeze the entire wave. Literally like 2 seconds before it hits Rat City. Like, it's They were done. So you use the liquid nitrogen and freezes it. Now, earlier in the movie, when they're freezing all the rats, like when they first get kidnapped, like way in the beginning, they freeze them with liquid nitrogen and then they put them in the fridge. It's like this freezer where they keep them to keep them cold. So all the water that's now frozen, that's not in a fridge, would eventually melt, and then you're going to have the same problem anyway?
I don't know how nitrogen works.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm assuming for the sake of if anyone for some reason would question it, I'm sure that the science behind that would say that it's just going to stay frozen.
It's going to stay forever?
But I don't know.
Then why keep them in the fridge?
Yeah. Or it stays frozen long enough to where they can settle down, figure out actually
what to do. Okay, that's fair. That's a good point. But I had that worry because I grew to love the city.
Right.
I was like,
right now they're dead.
Yeah,
they're all dead.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah. And there's no frogs either because they're all dead too.
All dead.
Yeah. So there's no one down there.
There's no.
We could go hang out down there if we wanted.
That's why they never made Flushed Away 2.
Yeah, not the budget.
No, it's all the characters died.
Yeah, they just are dead.
Very grim movie. This movie.
Yeah. But so then they work together and they build the Jamie Dodger 2, which is very heartwarming.
Yeah.
And all is well in the world.
And he stays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't
stays.
go back up.
He doesn't want to go back.
He stays.
I think does he give up his spot to Sid?
Yeah.
Right?
Remember, he gives up his spot to Sid, and then there's like a little mid-credit scene.
Right.
Yeah, where Sid's just on the couch and the family comes back home and they got a cat.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of Sid's like big punishment, I guess. Yeah. Which
so unfortunate.
I felt kind of bad because by the end you kind of like Sid.
Yeah.
So then he gets nailed, and
it
you're
would
like,
make sense if he was still like the horrible,
this
guy
greasy, awful guy. Yeah, but you kind of grow to like him.
And then one of my favorite things ever happens at the very end. The slugs sing into the credits.
Yeah,
which is great.
They do.
And that's it. That's
Away.
all we got for Flushed Away.
Dude, we
the
finally did
episode.
Flushed Away.
Yeah, I'm never revisiting this.
And
film
we're still
ever again.
breathing.
I'm hurting.
Yeah, I know. It took a lot out of us, but we did it.
Yeah, I the past couple of days, like I said earlier, I've had a parasite and I haven't really eaten a ton.
I wish you've had like applesauce,
peanut butter, saltines.
Yeah, that's
like
really
pretty much
it.
it. Yeah. And for those of you who know this, and even for those who don't, I've been eating fairly well the past couple months and getting a lot of calories in and all this stuff.
Trying to bulk up over there.
Yeah,
looking good.
And it's the calorie deficit the past couple days has been miserable.
Has it?
So like having a conversation more than like 20 minutes, even like on the phone with someone, is extremely exhausting. But I'm glad we made it through.
We did it.
Which
Flushed
is great.
Away is done.
This is
I
think it was a good episode. We did it. So going into final thoughts.
Yeah.
Would you like to start?
Yes.
Because I know you love this movie.
I love this
might
movie.
I might print you out a poster of this movie.
Honestly, that'd be awesome. I think there's a good chance I love this movie so much because after 5 or 6 episodes of the show, something around there.
Yeah,
I've been destroyed every time.
Yeah,
like some of these movies I really struggle to get through.
Yeah, and I usually like them more than you, even if I don't like them.
I think almost every time. Again, even if you don't like it, you always like it a little more. At least you enjoy it. You have a better experience. And I tell people, I'm like, listen, I love this show. I do. But the hardest part of doing this show is having to watch these movies,
right.
like especially like Cat in the Hat week.
Yeah,
that was dangerous. I almost quit. So I think with this, I've been so bruised each week that I finally put this on. I'm like, there's a chance that I'm gonna somewhat enjoy it because it's like well reviewed. I'm like, I look back on this fondly, and it was so good.
Yeah,
like it was funny. It was so creative.
Yeah,
like it just every direction they took. I'm like, wow, that's really smart. And it just seems it's for the first time in the show's history. It's a genuinely like
in our 6 episode
history. It's a genuinely like smart and well put together film. It feels like a movie. It's an actual movie.
Right.
It's so refreshing.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
And to start with an animated film that doesn't make you want to cry yourself to sleep is nice because I know we will find one that happens.
I have one on my list that I know eventually I will pick.
Okay.
I won't spoil it, but when we do that episode, I'll be like, remember like weeks ago?
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. Final thoughts for me. I really, really loved the bits they had throughout.
Yeah.
Especially with the one-off characters. So specifically, like I said, the when the slugs said high five and they had no arms.
They couldn't do it.
It's the best. It made me cackle.
Like there's no need for stuff like that, but it's like the best.
And then at the very end, when the surfer rat, who was mad by the water freezing, because he was going to go ride the wave. Those brought me so much life. I love them. I think the CGI animation didn't really hold up, but I don't fully blame the company for it, just because of like the issues they ran into.
They tried a different approach,
and it wasn't like their strong suit. So I get it. It wasn't my favorite, but definitely holds up for a kids film. I really liked it as a kids film. And to me, it held up better than most. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But not my absolute favorite.
Now, would you say it's your favorite of the stuff we've watched so far, or no?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
What gets put above this?
Probably Kermit Swamp Ears.
Oh, because you did really like Kermit Swamp Ears. Was this second then?
I think Spy Kids was second.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Put this
and then
third?
I think this is third.
Wow, no way.
That could change in the future. That's why at the end of the season I want to do
we'll do a little
rankings. But I think this is definitely up there. I don't know if it's number one.
To me, this is number one.
Yeah. Okay,
but
that makes sense.
Yeah, like a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a good. I liked it. I would probably watch it again.
Yeah, I would.
When I have kids or something like that. I don't know.
I'm watching it again tonight.
Yeah, I'll watch it by myself in the dark alone
with your parasite.
Exactly.
I would say you sit down with
my buddy.
Like, you and your good pal. I'll say you sit down with like a bowl of popcorn, but you can't.
Well, I probably could.
You couldn't eat it.
I could.
What would you be okay?
I mean, I can slowly go back to.
At this point, like you can finally go back to regular food.
It's just I'm trying to like figure out what I can tolerate, just because I haven't eaten anything. My stomach's kind of
like you don't want to go crazy.
Yeah.
Let's get McDonald's tonight, man.
Oh, dude, I've been thinking about that for so long.
Have you really?
Taco Bell has been on my mind for a hot second.
I think your parasite would love Taco Bell.
Their one thing was no spicy foods. Not that that's spicy, but like
no, but it's all grease.
That's all I could think about. Yeah,
exactly.
They're like no spicy foods, and I'm like, but what about spicy foods?
What about Taco Bell though? With the Diablo sauce.
Yeah, it's insane. Okay. Anyways, thank you all for listening. This has been a wonderful episode.
It has.
I trudged through. I made it. We made it.
We did make it.
We did flushed away after the cursed episode.
For multiple health reasons why we couldn't do it. People bailed. I was in the ER. Nick was in the ER.
Yeah.
It's done.
Oh, right. I went to the ER.
Yeah, we were both in the ER.
Anyways. Yeah, thank you all for listening. I can officially say this, which is amazing. Tune in next week for Chicken Little with our very special guest, Alex Keaveney.
Who I have no idea who this is.
Exactly. So you guys will find out next week who that is.
Including
me. I'm very, very excited for it. And also for that episode because Chicken Little is such a phenomenon.
That's what I would pick. I'm very excited for Chicken Little.
That we are going to talk about. And I'm very excited.
Final note?
I can't believe this got greenlit. Actually, I can't. No, I can't. I can't even say I can.
Reading this
really
script,
can't.
I'd be like, no way.
No, it blows my mind. All right. See you next week. Bye-bye.